Well, welcome everyone. I appreciate you being here. I'll tell you just a very small glimpse of Buffalo Reuse because it's, well, the long and the short of this story is that the organization was just grown and built out of this need to address the 10,000, 15,000 vacant houses in the city. We started scratching our heads and thinking, you know what, there's probably a more productive way to spend $150 to $200 million besides crunching things up and burying them in a hole. So we consulted with some people, we consulted with people in the community, and Buffalo Reuse was formed. Actually, I was sitting in the van last night, and I stumbled across, literally stumbled. I opened up a folder that had my name on them, and it was notes from April 4th, 2007, one of our founding board meetings, and it was like, create a staffing plan. Create a staffing plan? We didn't have staff, we were just two people running around in a pickup truck and ripping things out of buildings and trying to sell them on the weekends to pay our insurance. So to create a staffing plan, and now here we are 2 years later, we've got 12 staff, we've got a full-time contracting business, we're licensed and insured demolition contractors. We've got a whole greening program in the neighborhood where we're trying to transform vacant and blighted lots and houses into at least preserving them for the future, but hopefully trying to take the edge off blight to create more livable neighborhoods, and we'll talk about that when we get to the vision. And then using all of that as a vehicle for training out-of-school young people. You live in a city where it's now only 47%, something to celebrate. Only 47% of our kids don't finish school. But we have a lot of young people walking the streets, unfortunately, with nothing to do. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of systems that connect young people that are on the street with something productive and meaningful. They need support. They're not always going to just navigate that road on their own. They need positive mentors, they need opportunities, they need funding, they need educational support, and we need more institutions that can take in those individuals and help them to get to the next step in their lives, whatever that is, whether it's a job or a college, university, whatever it happens to be. So we're trying to connect those dots, just like we try to connect funding dots and say that we shouldn't have a scattered shot approach to demolition, that we should think strategically about the future of our neighborhoods, that we should think about what our neighborhood's going to look like when we take down 10,000 houses, particularly in neighborhoods where we have tremendous assets. So that requires some coordination of services as well, coordination of funding, thinking about that long-term vision, thinking about how the transportation systems are going to support a new and emerging population that will come, and we'll get to that when the visioning section comes along too. So that's a big picture of what we do. Yes, we are a demolition contractor. Yes, we run a retail store for low-cost building materials on the east side of Buffalo, 298 Northampton Street, right behind the Art Space building. We're a little bit unique in the not-for-profit world because we generate revenue. We do fee-for-service work, we employ people from the neighborhood, and we operate the store that benefits the whole neighborhood. But we are also thinking about the big picture, which is I don't want to take down buildings for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And right now, if things continue, we're going to lose another 800 people from our population in the next year in the city of Buffalo. So that means we're vacating more houses. So how do you reverse the trend? You all got to participate in this with me, you know? You all got to be there with us. You all have to come to the table and ask ourselves, how do we invite people back to the city again? Well, we do it through these events. We do it through our amazing arts and culture scene, and we do it by creating inviting neighborhoods. Buffalo in Bloom and the Garden Walk and all the arts festivals. People come to the city and they're like, oh, this is amazing. I was, just tell you a really quick story and then I'm done. I had a couple folks come over to Jefferson Avenue. If you've ever been to Jefferson Avenue, there is a new Meriwether Library there. It's one of the most stunning assets in the city, and if you've never been there, you should go there. You can walk there from Main Street in about 7.5 minutes from the subway, and it's an amazing tribute to African American history, a huge part of the culture here in the city of Buffalo. And there was a meeting there. They have an amazing little meeting space, assembly area, and a woman said, God, this is my first time to Jefferson Avenue, and it is such an amazing community, right? And it is. You walk down the street, and there's an Apollo Media Arts Center that's teaching young people how to do video and is doing public access TV. There's 2 new child care centers there. There's a grocery store where a lot of neighborhoods in the city don't have grocery stores. The Paul Robeson Cultural Center, tremendous assets, all within 2 or 3 square blocks, and you walk a half a block off Jefferson and they're tearing down 2.5-story buildings with full foundations. And you walk another 2 blocks and you can be on the subway. This is a neighborhood where we should be really focusing our energy, our resources, and inviting people back. So that's just an anecdote of what's possible, because I see a vision for Buffalo that includes lots of people. That includes people that want to be closer to the inner city because it's cost effective, you don't have to drive everywhere, where there's arts and culture opportunities, where there's people that care about each other. I'm not from Buffalo. I came here from Boston. And do you know why I moved to Buffalo? Because people talk to each other here. Because I was walking down Elmwood Avenue and I asked someone for directions and they're like, "You're not from here, are you? Let me walk you around the neighborhood." And they invited me in. And you know, I lived in 8 years for Boston and people were always trying to push me out. And it is something that I think a lot of people don't recognize here, and it's what speaks to people, which is the power of the person and the power of the community that you all have been an integral part of. And when push comes to shove, that's when you're in economic times that are struggling and when you're down on your luck and when there's not jobs, you know what you look to? You look to the people in your life. And that is what creates a home. That's what creates a place. And I think that's what's beautiful about Buffalo, and that's why Buffalo is going to be a home for millions in the future. And it's someday, Olmsted's vision is going to be realized, where there's going to be greenways and waterways and all these parks that connect all of these live, vibrant, active, culturally and human-centered communities in our city. So thank you very much, and come visit us at the store.